Greetings, everybody. So this is going to be a little, I don't know what you would call it, channels message. Probably not channels. I wouldn't say channel message, but I would say probably like uh, just sharing some thoughts and some insights and stuff like that that I'm guided to share. Um, kind of just like it's a lot going on in the world right now. You know, one thing after another. First is the corona. Now we got, protesting. It seems like, to be honest, what I've noticed for the last few years or so, like usually around this time of year, like around summer, and all of that, is usually when there's a lot of riots and protesting for Black Lives Matters and stuff like that. I pay attention to that. So I feel like it's a little much more to the story than that. I don't get too caught up in stuff going on in the world to the point where it affects me. Like, I don't get too caught up in it. I kind of like watch. I like observe. Let's say that. I like to observe things and just take it in, look at it. Like, I see it for what it is, but I also have to look at it from another perspective, which is a spiritual perspective. So, I feel like it's actually exciting. I feel like the whole situation and the protesting and stuff like that. I mean, I can go into this like way deeper, but I'll figure out how to go into this because I have notes and stuff. I'm by no means, you guys, am I. I don't want to be put into a box of like some type of, I don't know, like I have a channel that I do readings and stuff on, but I'm also guided to share my insights and stuff. So this isn't a reading. If you guys, in case you guys are wondering, this is not a card reading right now. I wanted to share something. I shared a dream with you guys. In one of my channel messages, I shared a disturbing dream I had, but I decoded it further, like, because dreams are symbolisms. So I went into that dream and it makes sense now. It makes a lot of sense. So back to what I was saying. So the whole protesting thing, the riots and stuff like that, I feel like things have to, like, certain things have to happen in order for change to happen. I feel like people that are called to protest and people who are called to riot, I feel like those are the people that should be doing it. There's people out there that's like out causing trouble, clout chasing. Like, some people don't have no business out there. Like, there's revolutionaries. I feel like there's people that are meant to do that sort of thing, and there's people that need to just stay the fuck at home. Like, you're missing the point of what the message is, if that makes sense. So I'm not against it. I feel like it needs to happen. Change needs to happen, for real. I'm not gonna say violence is the answer. I'm not saying it in that light, but certain things have to be done for change to go down. Tower moments. Tower moments. All right, so I had a dream. I told you guys, some of you guys probably seen that video. It was a channel message, and at the end of the video, I shared a crazy ass dream that I had. In this dream, I'm just gonna like express or just explain the dream that I had, and then I'm gonna like break down the decoding of my dream and how it relates to what's going on right now in the world. So I had this dream maybe like a couple weeks ago or so, maybe 3 weeks ago. Wasn't too long ago. And I was guided to wake up, get my journal, and write this dream out. So I was like pulled out of my sleep to write this dream so I wouldn't forget what Spirit was saying to me. So I was like, okay, this might be a warning, because why is it so vivid and like so, what's the right word, imperative that I write this down. Like, I had to get my journal and write it down. So I had this dream. I was like in a cafeteria. It was like I was an observer. I wasn't actually there in the physical space. I was like observing it, like I was watching a movie almost. So in the cafeteria, it was like people hanging out. It was like people singing and performing and stuff like that, like just gathering, right? And I noticed the rapper Machine Gun Kelly being there. I know Post Malone was one of the people that was in the dream. He's an entertainer too. And I think it was like Little Pump or something. It was like different types of artists, like artists nowadays that most youth knows about, you know. So they were in the dream, and Machine Gun Kelly was like singing. He was like he was singing in the corner, and it was like he was singing this song. It seemed like it was a love song, and it was like depressing. It was like a sad song or whatever. Then he started doing something vulgar. I don't know if I could say it on here. I probably should have age restricted this video, but he was, you know, doing something, you know, to himself, and everything is symbolism in the dream. But he was doing that, and all of a sudden, this skeleton woman in a pink prom dress comes in, and then all of a sudden it's destruction in the cafeteria. Like everything went up in flames, like people were dying. So I woke up out of my sleep. I said, what the fuck was that? And in one of the parts in the dream, it was like, I don't know if you guys ever watched conspiracy theories, like where they talk about the Illuminati and they talk about like celebrities and stuff. Anyway, like it's like a commentary that's like real negative, like kind of scary, kind of spooky commentary, and it's like warning. It said something. It was like the message was is that when they open the world up, they're going to try to kill off the youth or something like that, something crazy. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna write this shit down. So I went back to sleep. After I wrote that down, I went back to sleep. I had another dream that kind of piggybacked off of that dream. I was in a arena. It looked like a small arena or like a venue, like a concert venue or something. And I started, I was in the front, and I was looking at everybody around me, and I noticed that these K-pop artists were about to go on stage, and I was looking at them, and I was like, they look kind of creepy. Like, why do they look like that? And it was like their faces were real, like, soulless, like they were just like they weren't there. They kind of looked kind of sinister. So I looked around and I started noticing other people wanting to leave. So I started leaving, and I was looking for my family. I was like, where's my mom, where's my daughter? And I was leaving, and as I was leaving, there were security guards that were trying to shut the doors and close us in, and they were dropping stuff on the floor, like they were dropping like gas bombs or something on the floor. So one of them, Spirit made me pay attention to one specific one of them. It was a black man. So keep in mind with that. I'm going to go into that. It's a black man. And I got out of the arena, and I seen a long line of people, and I was guided to go to this one group of people. And it was a white woman I was speaking to. Keep that in mind as well. I was speaking to a white woman, and I was like, you don't want to go in there. Like, it's bad. Because it was people were dying in there, like they were dropping gas bombs, and they locked the doors. So I was like, you don't want to go in there. And she was laughing at me like, oh, whatever, like, bitch, basically get out of my face. And I was like, okay, God bless you. And I dipped off. So I woke up, and I was guided to share the message, and I was telling people, I don't know what this is about, but Spirit is saying, don't be so quick to go back into the world. Don't be going to no big arenas and big spaces and stuff like that, especially if it's for free and it has some of these artists that I named in my dream for whatever reason. But now that I look at it, I mean, that could still be relevant. I'm not going to discount that. So I looked up dream like meanings of these different symbols. The cafeteria was one of the, so I'll just go into it. So cafeteria, when I looked it up, most of the dream interpretations that I Googled, they came from metroeve.com and auntieflo.com. I like her dream interpretations. So some of them came from that. Those are the sources. So the cafeteria, it represents in a dream issues, interests, or situations where other people are noticing. Okay, so issues, interests, or situations. It says, this is the part that stood out to me. It says mutual awareness of each other's interests or problems. So it's a mutual awareness of each other's interests or problems. That's what the cafeteria meant. So I was guided to tap into MGK, Machine Gun Kelly. The part where he was singing the sad song, when I thought about it, I was like, okay, he's singing a sad song that represents expressing oppression or expressing some type of sadness or something, a problem, expressing an issue, right? And it was about love. I feel like it was about love. So if you think about everything that's going on in the world, it's like this has something to do with heart chakra energy too. Like right now, like the protests and everything, this is about humanity. That's love. So I looked into a machine gun. It's a military weapon. It's a military weapon, right? Fire gun. So that stood out to me. Military. That stood out. And I looked up the meaning of the name Kelly. So I found different references. The meaning, it says warrior, war, lively, and aggressive. So those energies stood out to me. War, warrior, lively, and aggressive. It depends on how you look at it, but these are the energies that stood out to me. The masturbation aspect of the dream. Masturbation in dream represents new growth, a happy period entering into your life. You will successfully complete a job in which you are involved. So that reminds me of the tower, because if you look at the tower card, and I'll get into the tower and how this ties into what's going on right now in the world. The tower, if you look at it, it's like it has a, it looks like somebody's shooting off. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know how else to say it. It looks like somebody's shooting off if you look at the dream. When you think of the tower card, it's like destruction, it's chaos, it's also it represents awareness, can also represent transformation, just how you look at it. So that stood out to me. Then Post Malone, I was guided to look into break, post, and then Malone. So I looked up the definition of post, the verb. The verb itself is display in a public place. Display in a public place. So there's a lot of things being televised, right? A lot on social media, the news. There's a lot of stuff going on. And then another part that stood out to me as well, it says in a place to announce or to publish something. So he represented something in dream. It wasn't really actually about him. He was a metaphor. He was a symbol. And then I looked into what is Malone. What does the name Malone mean? Represents the servant of Satan John. And I was guided to then look at St. John in the Bible. Who was St. John in the Bible? He was one of Jesus' chosen disciples. He was one of his dearest disciples. And not only that, he was the one that was given the prophecy of the Revelation. So he was the author of the book of Revelations. So I was guided to go into the book of Revelations. So I was like, well, Spirit, what verse do you want me to look into? Which one do you want me to go into? I was given verse Revelations 3 and 4. So Revelations 3 and 4, I'm going to break that down. Now, some of you guys be like, bitch, why are you talking about the Bible? The Bible to me is a metaphor. It's symbolism. I don't take it verbatim. It's metaphysical to me, basically. So it says, Revelations 3 and 4, it says, yet there are some in the church. So the church, there's 7 churches in the Bible. In the book of Revelations that they talk about, the churches represent a community. They're a community itself, and they all have a different meaning. Okay, so it says the church in Sardis, if I'm not pronouncing it right, y'all can correct me. It's Sardis. This was an ancient city, but it was one of the 7 churches that were mentioned in the book of Revelations. It says, yet there are some in the church who have not soiled their clothes. Clothes in the Bible represents basically your identity, who you are, what you're about as a person, your character. Have not soiled their clothes with evil. They will walk with me in white, which is, I took that as purity, the soul, the spiritual body, for they are worthy. Worthy meaning recognized. So those that, and then you got to break down what this ancient city means, and I went into that as well. But basically what that scripture is saying is for those that are in this community that has not been tainted by the fuckery. Because if you break the ancient city down, I took that as America, but that could be any city in the world that's corrupt. But when I looked into what the actual the seventh church, what this church specifically means, it says all seven churches were given the revelation of a apocalyptic, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, I always fuck that word up, message. So they were giving a forewarning of what was to come, meaning the destruction and the changes that were to come. These are the people that are here to wake people up. These are the people that are here to revolutionize, like wake the fuck up. However spirit guides you to do it. So this specific church, this specific community, which in the Bible, it's Revelations 3 and 16, or no, sorry, 3, 1 through 6. So 3 and 1 through 6 is the church of the spiritually dead. So the spiritually dead represents like people that are still asleep to what's going on, people that are just comfortable with the corruptness of America or anything in the world, cool with racism, cool with whatever that is, whatever it is that's coming up, that's being cleansed out of the earth right now, out of the universe, globally actually. But I feel like this is talking about the Americas, because this is where most of this destruction, which is destroying the false foundations, the tower card, tower, the Trump card, tower, Trump tower. I'll get into that. But anyway, so it talks about that. It says in the description, it says at fault by God. So this specific church that is described as the spiritually dead church, this is why I said this is America. Listen to what it says. It says at fault by God, by appearing alive, by appearing to be an awakened place, a prosperous place, but actually being spiritually dead. So most people come here because they think this is the land of the free and it's beautiful and such to be in America, and this is the place where I want to be. But in actuality, it's a dead place. It's a spiritually dead place. It's a lot of corrupt. It's a lot of materialism, a lot of all kinds of shit, racism, which we're dealing with right now. It's a lot of different things. But on the surface, it's a spiritual, it's much more deeper than what it looks like. This is not just about a race war. That's what they will have you believe, but it's much deeper than that. But anywho, so yeah, so it goes into that. And then I broke down the number 7 because when I was guided to tap into Revelations 3 and 4 to what Spirit was trying to say to me, Revelations 3 and 4, so when you add 3 and 4 together, that's what, 7. And then I thought about the Tower card, and I was like, the Tower is the 16th major arcana, 1 plus 6, that's 7. So 7 is God's number. It's also a number of awakening. It's a number of warnings, spirituality, the 7th chakra, which is the crown chakra, the corona, the crown. So y'all get it, right? We breaking it down. I was like, Spirit, you taking me somewhere. What you doing? Twin Cities too, Minnesota. Yeah. I was like, well, okay, Spirit. And also 7 is a divine creation number. So Spirit is it's a shift in creation. Tearing and dismantling the old foundations, the false structures, because this land was built off of corrupt. It was built off of thievery. It was built off the very things like the shit we're fighting right now. So that's what's happening. So the skeleton woman, Spirit took me back to her. The skeleton woman in the pink prom dress that came in, that walked in, and when she walked in, it caused a destruction. It caused a fire. Fire represents transmutation. So I took it as that. But the skeleton woman, most of you guys may be familiar with Santa Muerte, which represents the Holy Death, the mother of Holy Death. She's an aspect of the Mother Mary, the Divine Mother, Mother Earth, Mary Magdalene, and then my sister, she put me on because I didn't catch this. She sent me a video. Put her name in, if you're still watching because you just commented, put her name, it's Astra, some of y'all know who she is. She decodes a lot. she said MAGA, and I think it's short for Magdalene. So when I heard that, I asked my sister, like, what do you mean by that? Ashtar Star Goddess. Astra, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right, but she just put it in there. Um, MAGA, and I said, MAGA? Like, you mean make America great again? But I took it as like, that's what Mother Nature's doing. Like, the thing about Trump is everybody plays a role in this reality. Everybody plays a significant role. However, Spirit uses people. Spirit's gonna use whatever they gotta do to get whatever needs to be done. I feel like Trump, in a way, he's a interesting fucking character, but at the same time, though, he's bringing this, like, just by him being in the place that he's in, and not saying, like, he's not the one that's ushering it in, but he's a puzzle piece, if that makes sense. So when I heard make America great again, it's the opposite of what the bigots and stuff like that would have believed, because this is what's happening. Like, shit's shifting right now. That's the real make America great again. So, all right, anywho, so I think Bianca, are you in here? Bianca O, she's emailed me. She sent me something. It was an article with Lady Gaga. It was right after I did that channel message about the pink dress and the skeleton. She sent me this Lady Gaga article with her in a pink dress, and she was holding a skeleton head. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna look into Lady Gaga. Let's look into what Gaga means. It represents being crazy, being senile, out of your fucking mind. So basically, I took that as when this woman stepped into the dream, and all of a sudden it was destruction and chaos where everyone was gathering. Because concerts in the cafeteria, I feel like that represents a gathering, people coming together. It was a destruction that took place, but it was destroying and transmuting something. So the color pink, going back to the pink dress and everything. So the color pink represents love. It represents joy, sweetness, happiness, affection, femininity, which is Divine Mother again. Then it can also mean healing, and it also represents immaturity and weakness. So again, it's that shadow, the light and the shadow. You can't have one without the other. So immaturity and weakness, all of that energy, that's spiritual weakness and spiritual immaturity. Because it was also in a school, a cafeteria. It was like a school cafeteria. So schools also represent a place of learning, so lessons and teaching. The dresses and dreams represent compliance, willingness, or obedience. Also can represent lack of assertiveness or asserting power or control. So this is what we're dealing with now. It's like anything that's corrupting the system. It's like asserting your power and your control, your authority to some extent. It's all in the way that you do it. The compliance and willingness and obedience to whom is the question. So the concerts represent, in a dream, harmony and cooperation. It says you will have with others to present your ideas publicly. I can't read my handwriting sometimes, especially when I'm like in a zone. It says publicly, such work will be able to affect others while uplifting your own spirit. So there's something about spiritual work. So how I took it in the dream, because I was one of the people in the dream that was like, something ain't right up in here. We gotta, like, let's get the fuck out. It was only a few of us. It wasn't even that many. A lot of people were still focused on the stage, and some people, I was looking around, and some people was like, nah, I'm about to dip out. And I tried to warn that girl. So this is sharing of ideas, and also uplifting not only others, but uplifting your own spirit. So I wrote down gathering. The concept represented gathering. So the K-pop people, I couldn't really find what Spirit was trying to say with the K-pop stars. But one thing that I was aware of, and what I do know about K-pop stars, because I was watching something on YouTube, is that a lot of them are in slave contracts. So I said, okay, I'm gonna look into what a slave contract is. And ironically, Wikipedia, it popped up slave contracts, and when I read it, it says a slave contract is an unfair long-term contract between Korean idols, Korean idols, like really, and their management agencies. So a slave contract. Okay, so I was guided to look into that for some reason. And then I said, okay, slaves, let's look into slaves. So by definition, a slave is a person who is the legal property, aka people with birth certificates, people with social security cards, anything that you sign your rights over to the government, you're a property. Everybody, well, not everybody knows that, but most people know that. A person who is the legal property of another and is forced to obey them. So you give away your rights. Usually when you get pulled over by a cop, what do they ask you for? Your license and registration or your ID. Like they ask you for your birth date and all that shit. They ask you. So basically, I was like, okay, it's pretty self-explanatory. And then I looked into the security guards. Security guards in a dream. Security guards in a dream. To dream of a security guard represents caution or carefulness that your actions stay within certain bounds. So security guards are guarding something. These security guards were not of good. They were trying to keep people in so that they can kill people off in the concert. They were the one dropping it was like tear gas bombs or something on the floor. So it says to stay within certain bounds, guards. So I looked into what was the tear gas. What does tear gas mean in a dream? To dream of tear gas represents behavior that is focused on preserving others by making life unbearable. So that stood out to me. Unavoidable ultimatums. Feelings of someone trying to coerce you or make you stop doing something. So to hinder you from doing something, it's like gaslighting. Basically, that's what I took from that. Gaslighting. They do a lot of that in the media. Police officers, anyone that's against you, they are here to make your life a living hell. And I also took the tear, like you can't see anything clearly. It's all smoke. You can't see. The part that stood out to me too was to make you stop doing something. So they have to gaslight you to stop making change. So they're guarding, but they're not guardians. They're not here to guard anyone in a positive light. They're here to guard a portal because they were standing by the doors. They were locking us. They were trying to lock us in. Doors represent portals and dimensions, trying to keep us locked in a certain dimension and portal and frequency, if that makes sense. So the doors stood out to me because they try to keep us in. So that goes to a dream that I had, and I'll go into that too. But I tried to warn people who were wanting to going in, which is, I took that also as above, so below, in, so without. So whatever's going on, what you see in this physical reality is something in the spiritual sense as well that's happening. So I was trying to warn this white woman. So remember I said the security guard that I paid attention to that dropped the gas bomb on the floor was a black man. So that's yin and yang. That's opposites. That's black and white. So this racism war is really not about race. It's like shadow. It's duality. It's a fucking, I don't know how to explain it. The spirit was taking me somewhere with this. It's duality. And then I also said, well, we're in Gemini season 2. Gemini is energy of the twins. So when you think about twins, you think of a good twin and you think of a bad twin, or you think of light versus dark. If you look at certain tarot cards, like the Aleister Crowley deck, I think it's the Thoth Tarot, some other tarot decks, they usually have a white person and a black person together, the Lover's card, which represents duality. So the yin and the yang, this Gemini energy, And it's all like, it all makes sense. And then I said to myself, I went outside of the concert. Outside of the concert was the outer energy. The inside of the concert, that was the internal energy. That was the shadow energy. It was weird because usually they depict black as dark, right? Darkness, being in the dark. So the black man was inside of the concert. I thought it was real. I was like, this makes so much sense because I had paid attention. If you pay attention to anything in your dream, that means spirit is trying to speak to you. Like, look at it outside of what it looks like. I don't know if that makes any sense. But so yeah, the dream that I had, I was talking to my sister on the phone about twin flames, and I was telling her about this love energy, and immediately my phone cut off while I was talking to her in my dream, and I was walking in darkness. It was nighttime, and I was talking to her on the phone, and my phone died. It was some white men. And I'm not trying to make this a race thing, but I'm telling you, I'm just showing you what Spirit was giving me a heads up about something. I didn't know it at the time. It didn't make sense at the time. But it was a group of white men driving around my neighborhood. It looked like they were in, like, you know, those Jeeps. They're like open Jeeps. They look like military Jeeps, basically. Like, they were in those, and they had guns, and they were looking for people to shoot. And I was trying to hurry up and get up the stairs. Stairs represents evolution, awakened. So I was trying to get up my stairs, but I was crawling up my stairs, like, because I was trying to hide from them. I wasn't trying to, I wasn't trying to get murked, okay? So I was climbing up my steps back to my door. The door wouldn't open. I was freaking out because the door wouldn't open. But as soon as I got to the porch of my door, the lights went on and the door illuminated. My dream ended. I don't remember how it ended. And then I went back into my dream again. And then they started showing me Mr. Gates. Y'all know who Mr. Gates is. I don't have to say his name. He plays a big role in all of this shit that's going on, especially with this corona stuff. And when I looked into his name, Gates and stuff like that, I think it means savior. The name William or Bill represents savior, something like that. False savior, but you know what I mean. And I said Gates. He was blocking people from getting out of this portal. It was like, it looked very like I was in space, or I was like, I don't know how to explain it. It looks like I was in the heavens, in space. I was in there. And it was people trying to get through this door, and he was guarding it. Like, and they said he is the key to get through this portal, and I didn't understand what that meant. I'm still trying to make sense of what that meant. But he was guarding this, it's like a spiritual door, and it was like something with love. Like, Spirit was trying to tell me it was something with love energy, the heart chakra energy, pink energy, green, like all of this is heart chakra, but Spirit was trying to like make known. So getting back to the twin energy, Spirit wanted me to talk about that, because a lot of people, this twin flame stuff, it's real, but to some degree, I feel like people get it. They got it all twisted and they have it all fucked up. Twins are, it's like a very, if you know what a twin, you get it. It's not like what people think. It's not this little light and fluffy shit. Your twin flame and you activate each other on a spiritual level. You guys communicate on a completely different level of frequency and energy. But you also have a twin community. You have people that are also, so twins within self. You gotta be balanced within yourself. Masculine and feminine energies within yourself. So within self, you have your feminine, you have your masculine principle. So when you merge with yourself, you're naturally going to merge with your spiritual tribe. And Spirit made me think of the symbolism of Jesus and Mary. Not his mother Mary, but Mary, whom was a whore, but ended up, they had their little thing going, okay? So getting into that. So Mary and Jesus, and then the disciples. So everybody collectively, this is soul tribe energy. Everyone plays a role in this. So your soul tribe is also a part of that twin energy, if that makes sense. It's bigger than just, oh, me and him, or me and her, or whatever. It's bigger than that. It's it's a family, it's a soul tribe energy, it's a collective energy. The disciples all had specific roles. Jesus had a specific role. Mary, everybody played a role in this. So Spirit had me go somewhere with that, but I don't know if that's making sense to anybody. But so yeah, it makes sense why they're promoting all of this race war stuff. It usually happens around summertime. Like I said, I usually notice that, and it happens 365. It happens every day, but they broadcast and they highlight certain stories, and certain stories go viral. And I notice that it happens at a certain time. It happens at a certain time. So with it being in Gemini season, like I said, it's that duality, black versus white, that shit. So it's the reason why certain things happen. It's also to cause separation of this good versus evil, light versus dark. And the truth of it is like, it's really not about color. It's not about the color. It's about energy. It's about bloodline. It's so much more deeper than what they're trying to show you. Like, it's not just about, oh, because you black, I killed you. Like, to some, the lower frequency people that don't see, that don't know, yeah, it's because you're black. But on a deeper level, like on a higher consciousness level, like subconsciously, it's something else. It's much deeper than that, if y'all get what I'm saying. But we're not going to go too much into that, because I don't want to stir up no trouble, but y'all get it. Like, we don't know who these and the Mike Browns, and we don't know who they are in the spirit realm. We don't know what they represent. A lot of times, like especially the latest, I don't know if I could George, because some people getting their shit flags. I'm gonna just say it, but you don't know who they are in the spirit realm. Like, we look at things from a physical perspective. Oh, he was just this. Oh, he was just a security guard and such, and yeah, here we go. You don't know who they are in the spirit realm, and what they're meant to awaken, or what they're meant to like spark, or they could be sacrifices for change coming and stuff like that. I'm not gonna go too far into that, because I might be doing too much for some people. So everything is a spiritual thing. One thing could be one way in the physical, but in the spirit realm, it could be something completely different. So let's look at it that way. The Tower card, I was guided to look into that. The Tower card also represents duality. If you look at the traditional tarot card, it's a man and a woman falling out the tower. So again, the twin energy, the yin and the yang, the opposite, the duality. Spirit made me think of Trump, the Trump Tower. Trump is a Gemini. Like, come on. Like, this shit is too much. But so the two people, that the male and female that's falling out, the duality, that represents, the Tower card represents mass awakening, destruction of false foundations. It also happens unexpectedly. Gemini rules the lungs, communication. Thank you. You made me think of that. Gemini's ruling planet is Mercury, communication. I can't breathe. The corona, which is usually what they say, like, you can't taste anything, like you lose your taste, you can't breathe. All of this is some fucking symbolic shit. Come on now. People speaking out, that's throat chakra. Yes, thank you, sister, for waking that up, because that almost fucking slipped. So unexpected of the change that happens with the Tower card. Tower moments happen. They can be destructive, they can be catastrophic, they can come unexpectedly, but they cause a mass awakening. So when you look at the Tower card, I want y'all to look, because I don't have the traditional tarot deck on me, but in the traditional tarot, if you look at it, there's a crown that's popped off. It's fire, it's thunder, and it's a crown that's popping off of the tower. The corona, which means crown, the crown chakra. Y'all get where we going with this? Because I'm like, okay, spirit, like, okay. So, and also another thing too, I wrote down, it says, Mama is knocking the false royals off of their throne. So all of this false shit that America is based off of, all these false royals, all these false rulers of this world, this dimension, which is not true royals. So lower vibrational beings and entities that run this shit. They don't really run shit, but you know what I mean. Spirits blowing the top off of that. That crowns represent royalty. So any falseness, that shit's done. Like this is something very big that's happening. And yeah, there's gonna be a lot of fuckery. There's a whole bunch of dummies out there causing trouble and ruckus just to be stupid, just to be on social media and stealing and doing all kind of stupid shit. And it's gonna be ignorance there. That's the shadow attribute. But the light attribute of this is that people are coming together. People are speaking up, speaking out, demanding a shift. There's awakening happening. That's the purpose of this, and that's the only thing that we should focus on. All the fuck shit, that doesn't mean anything. So if one man has to be an example for something, or one woman has to be an example for something, then so be it. It is what it is. However it needs to happen, whether this person was a thug, whether this person, whatever, it doesn't matter. If spirits using these people or their higher selves, you don't know what contract they had before they got here with their like I said, I can't judge people too much because you don't know who the fuck they are in the spirit realm. Might be just you just look at him like, oh, he's just a bum on the street, like sipping a 40 or something, but you don't know who the fuck he is in the spirit realm or what his contract was. Because to me, that's big. Like, I sparked that shift. Like that's major. So whatever spirit gotta do, we gotta come higher. Like, we're looking at the physical of everything and we miss the spiritual point because we're too focused on what it looks like. But yeah, this is what it do. This is what it is. Yep. I first say that again, Dara. Yep. Yeah, and also be mindful where you're extending your energy. Like, it's okay to be upset. It's okay to feel and have empathy. But be mindful of how you're, because they, lower vibrational energies, they feed off of your fear. They feed off of your anger. All of that. Like, they feed off of that shit. But it's like, it's how you transmute and it's how you use the energy. It's all about how you use it. At the end of the day, it's love at the end of the day. And I feel like that's the Mother Earth, the Mother energy, that pink energy that I saw in the dream, that represents that love. That's that divine feminine energy, that mother energy. Everything must turn back to its natural state. You can't come through this portal without coming through the womb. So when you come through this, it's a feminine energy. It's a feminine principle, but there's also a masculine principle. You got to have the balance, and balance is being restored. It's been happening, slowly but surely it's been happening. And it's also going to manifest itself physically through what you see and people and things like that. So that's my take on this, and this is where Spirit led me to go. And I just hope that this helps somebody or sparks something. And I'm sure you guys can, you have your own insights too. Everybody has their own insights and takes, and I like hearing, I like watching. But yeah, go watch Astra. I'm not probably pronouncing it right. Star Goddess. She did something, and she helped me point out some shit in my dream. I was like, oh shit. And thank you to my sister for sending that to me, because it made me think about my dream. It made me go back into it, and my sister was like, decode it, like decode the dream. And it made sense to, rather than just going off of what it was, because it's easily be like, okay, well, this dream is saying this. And I'm still not going to discount that, because I feel like you got to be mindful of where you're going. Like I said, with people getting all caught up and involved in all this shit that's going on, trying to see what's up and trying to destroy things just to be a part of shit, but they're not called to do that. There's people that's called to do that, like people that are supposed to be revolutionaries and like rowdy about that life. Some people don't have no business being out there, and I don't want nobody getting hurt. If you're not called to step your ass out, then don't do it. Not to be out here clout chasing, or oh, I was out there and such. I want to tell my family and I want to show everybody I'm out. No, stay your ass at home. okay, if you're not ready, because it's like, and on top of that, not that I've heard of, I know that some people have gotten hurt and stuff, but it's not like how you would think it would be. Like, cops, if it really was some shit to go down, cops could really just you know, get it popping. But it's not happening that way. And I feel like this, like I said, this is just my opinion. Not everybody is called to be out on the front line doing what they're doing. Some people, that's what they're supposed to do. Some people are meant to sit their ass at home. It's not a show. It's not clout chase time. You could do that online, posting memes and shit, but you know, there's some people that's really about that life, and if shit really goes down, they're willing and prepared to lay it out. And there's some people that's out there just to like steal some cars and some clothes and shit, just to be doing shit, and that's not what this is. So much love as always. I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna get my ass off of here and go eat, because I know my food is here. So I'm excited to eat. I'm just saying. No, I am. I'm excited to eat. So much love as always. Much love to you. I'll catch you guys. I have some other videos and stuff that I want to share with you guys. Some more healing videos and stuff. But I just wanted to come on here and shed light on that. You know. Much love.